why. Anyway, so I had to find a place. So I went to Rabbi Rappaport, and Rabbi Rappaport was on a diet. He said he's got someone in Dundee, some shtetl in Scotland, or in Wales there's something going. I said, well, I don't know what to do. So then my Rebbe said he's got a place in Walthamstow, which he's got a friend of his, most probably all from Vilna, and he said they'd want somebody in Walthamstow. So I said, all right, and he told me that you go there and I'll see to it that you're
this was when you were in yeshiva? When you were in yeshiva?
Yes.
Yeah, and they used to learn like in the old yeshivas, chavrusas and everything.
Yeah. We used to have chavrusas in the afternoon. We used to have a shir, we had a shir in the morning. Yeah. We used to have a shir. And we used to go over it. There was, what's his name, Broder, Lionel, and Irwin. And,
what language is it?
In Yiddish he used to.
So how did he manage that?
I understood it. Well, I understood the Gemara. And with the Yiddish information, and everybody used to ask in English, and he used to. He used to speak English perfectly. He used to grammar. He was a masculine. You know, those people from Vilna, they were not. They were so, broad in their learning and so on.
And he knew English.
Perfect English. No, he's broken English, but perfect English. He would stop in a Tosfos, and he'll say, have a look at this word, what do you say? Is it an einvar? You know, in grammar, he used to go in declensions and so on, and they were...
Rabbi Ginsburg, he knew English?
I hardly spoke any English, not like Rabbi Halperin. But I never got on with Rabbi Greenspan. He was a very difficult person to get on with. But Rabbi Halperin was a big scholar, and he was very good.
So you used to go every day from Kazenhof Road, from Stamford Hill to the East End?
He used to, learn there.
Then he used to come back in the afternoon?
He used to come back in the afternoon, yeah. I used to teach in the Lubavitch.
Ah, that's when you started teaching about where's Lubavitch, also in Kazenhof?
No, it was in around. It was where we used to live. I forgot what the guys. In Stamford Hill. It was in Stamford Hill.
And then they didn't bother about somebody from the Akiva teaching in Chabad?
He wasn't interested particularly. I don't know how I got the job, to tell you the truth. And it may have been through Kagan's. I'm not sure. But
you used to go to them a lot, the Kagan's?
Oh yeah, very much.
You lived quite near to them from Kazenhof Road, no?
Pardon?
Was it near where they lived, Kazenhof Road?
Yeah, of course. Yes. He was very near. They were on Deston Road. Yeah. But
you used to daven in Grove Lane then, or what? Did you used to daven in Grove Lane?
I used to go to Grove Lane. I used to go to Egerton Road, and I used to be mainly in Pinters. Pinters was a shtibel, a Hasidic shtibel, and I used to daven there. It was very close. Yeah. So I used to.
But Stamford was very Jewish already then.
Oh, very much. So. Yeah. It was a Jew from a community.
From a community.
Yeah.
So, so tell me about the chasna. When you got to, you'd already left Thaxted when you got married?
No.
From Thaxted, you were still living in the back? You're still living there?
Still living on the farm.
Well, they had places for married couples there?
Yes, of course. Yes, we were going to married couples there.
Yeah. So the Kagans arranged the chasnas.
Kagan and Spector. They both went.
Who's Spector?
He was also a friend. Rivki, where she teaches now, there was a woman there, the daughter of this chap Spector, Rabbi Spector he called himself. And she didn't know, she was talking about, she was from England, she knows from England. So what was your maiden name? So the Spectre. So man, so he comes in, did you know anybody called Spectre? I said, of course I knew Spectre. He used to be a shochet. There were a lot of shochet who were sacked in the 30s or, you know, or beginning of the 40s or during the war, I don't know. And they all did very well in business.
Why were they sacked? What happened?
I don't know. There was the shortage. There were, I don't know what they didn't need them. I don't know. There were big problems. You know, during the war there was rationing and so on.
Yeah.
Anyway, they didn't need them for some reason or other. Anyway, so they did very well. I think Baxt also. He went into. That's how he dealt in feathers. Baxt in Pyrenees and things like that. And quite a number of them did very well in business. Anyway, so they went down to Silverstein's and arranged. But the payment was done by the farm. Everything, you know.
They paid for the chasna.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh. And so you remember?
I think so. I'm not sure actually, but anyway.
Remember the Ufruf?
Yeah, of course, yes, I remember correctly. It was so terrible weather then.
Where were you staying? Where did you stay? And
well, we invited everybody. When we invited the parents, we invited Rabbi Safa to the wedding. To the Ufruf.
Where was everybody staying? Other people's houses?
Yes, no, there were places where I paid for to stay.
Yeah, so it was in Grove Lane.
The one was Hoffman. Hoffman, he had it was a shochet. Hoffman, a gasser shochet. Very handsome fellow. With a strangle, you know. Mum and Dad stayed in there where they were. And there was another place where I put Rabbi Safa Zichron Baruch and his wife. And anyway, so I had to collect them on the Shabbos morning and so on.
Manny and Harold come also?
Yeah.
Yeah, so how did Grom and Grandad fit into this new Hasidic society?
Oh, that was interesting because it's a funny thing happened. So I thought, it wasn't very nice, and I thought I'd scare them because she didn't know what my standard of religiosity was like.
Well, grandma.
So there was his Streigel, this Hoffman Streigel, hanging on the peg. So they were sitting down, so all of a sudden I came in with a Streigel. Oh, Dad! What are you doing? David, what are you doing? I said, it's all right, don't worry, it's not mine. I said, it belongs to the... So they stayed there, and anyway, they went in the Kagans.
So where did you eat? At the Kagans? Everybody ate at the Kagans made the ufruf, yeah? So it was in Grove Lane, so Rabbi Rabinov was there, he was the gave a drosha there?
Rabbi Rabinov gave me a cup of Kedushim.
Did he speak English?
No, hardly. Hardly.
He
understood it. He understood it because I used to go in sometimes to ask him shalas.
Yeah.
And he used to sort of it. Anyway.
Yeah. So so you're in yeshiva, and so what made you leave? What?
Well, I had to leave because they said I have to go to Manchester because we're closing.
That's
it
the
down.
bite.
The bite. Avner, you know, Yehuda Avner, he was the ambassador to England. He was responsible for Bachad at the time.
Yeah.
He came from Eretz Yisrael. And he started closing down, and so I didn't get on well with him there because I didn't think he was very nice towards me. And anyway, but the fact is... What
were your... what did you have to do? I mean, the bite you didn't pay for.
No.
So you were the Nitzigim, so what did you have to do?
Mum was in charge of the bite. She was.
So what used to be in the bite? Bnei Akiva was there?
No, there were a lot of people there. They used to stay there. The Shlichim used to stay there.
How many rooms were there?
Oh, it was a very big bite. Well,
and that was the bite where we used to be Bnei Akiva. So what, it used to be on top there?
Yeah, in one of the rooms.
So you were in charge of all the...
I wasn't in charge.
Not you, but Mum. Well, no, both of you. So.
No, well, not both of us, just Mum. She was responsible for in visitors and so on.
And also cooking and everything?
I don't know cooking. I think we had a cook there. I'm not sure. I've forgotten now. But Anyway,
but you just got lodging.
Lodging, yeah, that was the arrangement. I belonged to the movement. And anybody,
So what did you live off then?
Anybody,
What have you got from yeshiva?
Yeah, I got, well, the food was found for me there.
Ah,
I
because
didn't
that
have
was
to pay anything, and I got £3 from the yeshiva, and I got a few bob from teaching, you know. Anyway, so and then what happened? That you know, what with the Manchester business, and what broke the camel's back was that Mum got a phone call from one of the machas of the movement to say that 2 people are coming to stay, and that night Mum had to go out to mikveh, so she said she won't be there.
Yeah.
I said, what do you mean you won't be there? You're responsible. I said, no, I'm not. Why? You don't tell me the last moment to prepare things for them. I must go out.
Yeah.
So, well, it's no good, we're looking very good. I said, why don't you take them home? If it's so important, let your wife look after them.
Yeah.
So, well, you're responsible for them, what's her name? So that night, we decided to leave. B'mikra, Esther Kagan, Zichron Livracha, she was telling her, she was saying that the Raskin is moving. Raskin was Shochet Lubavitcher, and so Mummy said, well, who is it? He said, well, they're in Bagels, and a fellow chap called Bagel, and they live in Stamford Hill. Oh, very good information, that. So, well, no, he said, it's all right. She didn't realise what she was saying.
Yeah.
That night before the chap came to tell us off about Mummy.
Yeah.
He was a nice fellow, Kopstein. It's a very, very nice chap. But he was in charge of the farm. He was a good, very good agriculturalist. But they took him, and he was in charge in London.
Yeah.
So we contacted this Bagel, and we arranged to stay there.
Yeah.
You know, to
rent out.
how we managed, I don't know, because
how much it cost?
Anyway, I think 2.5, I think 30 shkalim, I think 30 shillings.
What, a week?
A week. We had 1 room, a bedroom, and a kitchen, and that's it.
Your own kitchen?
Our own kitchen. No hot water, no bed. Anyway.
You didn't have a bathroom?
We used the I think. Just wait a minute. I forgot. Where was it? I've forgotten now. So most probably we had a what's the name bathroom, a common bathroom with the people who lived there. Something I forgot. Mummy may remember. Yeah. Anyway, so what happened? So we'd arranged everything. We went to the gas company to get everything on, you know, hire
Your
purchase.
Name.
What was capable of hire purchase, couldn't have the money.
Yeah.
So so he came down, this fellow, giving us a talk, you know, how we got to behave.
What's that?
Yeah. So I told him first, I said, look, the arrangement was, officially, I stay here for a year, and learn in yeshiva.
And this was in the end of the year already?
Don't know. So this is not a derech, you can't do it. Yes, I know, but we've no choice, and so on. I said, well, you've got to keep the promises which you keep. And then he went over to Mummy. So anyway, after the long drosha which he gave Mummy, I said, well, look, it's all unnecessary, all this discussion, because we're leaving. What? You're leaving after so many years and wonderful being one? I said, we can't take it anymore. We decided to leave, and we're not having this humiliation. David wants to learn in Eitz Chaim, which was promised, and you take advantage of me like this. So he was astounded, and I felt sorry for him, because he was sent to tell us off. So I said, then that's it. And we got Esther got to know about it. How can you leave? What are you going to make a living on? Mum got to know. Are you mad? I said, what will be, we'll manage, don't worry. He said, you won't be able to manage, it's going to be chaos. You've got a little baby, how are you going to do it?
Ah, Chem was already born then?
I think it was already born, I'm not sure, but I think so. Anyway, but whatever the situation was, that they were very much against it. Anyway, I said, and to this day I say, the happiest day of my life when we were on our own. And it was a wonderful feeling, you know, that nobody is telling you what to do, you're your own boss. And that's it, that's when we went on our own. But it was, they all thought we were...
So when did you leave the yeshiva then? After you had moved? Or before?
No, I was still there.
I was still in the yeshiva, and then you were already in Walthamstow also?
I think Walthamstow, yes, no, I think it was in the yeshiva, it was alright, it was when I left the yeshiva, then I had the...
Then you had to become a rabbi or something? What, because of the...
The army.
Because of the army? So what did you used to do in Walthamstow?
I was a minister there.
So every Shabbos you used to go there?
I used to Shabbos walk there every Shabbos.
So when did you start going just for Rosh Hashanah? You already left there or what?
No,
I remember you going Rosh Hashanah. I went with you Rosh Hashanah. You never used to go every Shabbos?
Shabbos, every Shabbos.
I don't remember. You used to daven Crowland Road.
Unless they asked me to come on Rosh Hashanah.
When I went with you once to Walthamstow on Rosh Hashanah.
I don't remember.
I remember, and Yom Kippur used to be there, used to go by himself.
Yes.
But that was all.
Yeah, well, I was, I don't remember that, I don't remember. I used to go every Shabbos there.
Must be in the early years.
Pardon?
Maybe in the earlier years.
Maybe, I don't
So what you used to do, you used to daven, Lane and daven.
Daven, you know.
They used to daven. What
Shabbos
type of
morning.
Jewish community was there?
Well, it was, I think it was a break-off of the big Walthamstow shul, which Rabbi Raznik, I don't know if you heard, there was a Rabbi Raznik, he was in charge, he was in charge of the Eitz Chaim Yeshiva in Yerushalayim, his father.
Zeleznik.
Zeleznik. And he was one of the sons who came.
Yerushalmi, in Walthamstow.
Yes. Anyway, so he also went for the board of Shchita. You see, the board of Shchita, they used to have Rabbonim coming for Shilas.
Wow.
And there were some Talmidei Chachamim, but there were some others weren't such Talmidei Chachamim. You know who else was there? It was very interesting to know, and I didn't realise it at the time. That famous Rav, what was his name now? In America, a theologian he was, from a Hasidic family. Oh gosh, I've forgotten his name now. Yeah, very famous Rav.
So what?
He was his brother. His brother also. He used to be Paskin Shilas there. And there was one Rav who, Rabbi Rudnik. He was in Hebron at the time of the massacre there. And he, Rav Goren, and a lot of them went to Tel Aviv for a chasna that night. He was there. He was a Charif, and he had no patience. Because many a times when I used to do shchita there, I used to go in and where he should. He used to be around Cannon Street, and so many a times I used to get him angry. He had no patience, you know. So that type of Litvish Charifus, you know, I could never understand that type of person.
How did he get into shchita?
Who's that?
You. How did you get into shchita? When was
through
this?
Avramo.
But when did you start? After you'd moved over to the bagels?
Yes.
Well, so then you left the yeshiva. You left the yeshiva.
Yeah, I started learning shchita.
Why? Because that was Zamin.
Well, that was. They said to me when I left them. They said to me before going to Al Aliyah.
Yeah.
What do you want to? I said I'd like to learn. He said, but why?
Yeah.
You got to do something practical.
Yeah.
You don't just learn.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, be a shochet. You know, just as
when you started doing shchita, you still had a dream of coming to Israel at that time.
No, at that time when I was learning Shkita, no, already I was past that period. I was on my own, and we decided to stay.
You decided not to go to Israel.
We were always wanted to go to Israel, but we had to find a time where.
It's not him. So what made you go into Shkita? I mean, Shkita's not.
I told them that was an Agavurcha thing. I said,
right.
learn Shkita. So
this was in the movement.
So I said, Ramal was a shochet.
Yeah.
So he said, well, look, you've got to have a parnos. I said, well, learn Shkita. If you're in yeshiva, all the shachtim came from them. So he told the Rosh Shachtim, and he got me in.
So who taught you Shkita?
Well, Avram, the problem was with the sakinim, you know, to get how to tell the chalif. That had a big problem with why, because they gave me, from the board of shit, they gave me very poor chalofim, and it was very difficult to stel. So I had a lot of troubles. I went to Avram tried to teach me, and then Gorkov tried to teach. Gorkov was a Chabadnik. He didn't work out. I had a lot of trouble until they gave me. I was prepared. They gave me 2 chalafim of millers, and I drove man mad because I said I'll never be able to be a shepherd. Never do it. And then.
What is the problem? The steel.
Yeah.
Millers didn't have millers, so how did the people manage then? How did they make the proper chalif?
I used to have a garlic chalif, which used to get rusty, and I used to use it, and over a couple of days, if it wasn't properly dry, it used to get rusty. Then millers started coming from America, and they brought over a lot of chalofim. And they gave me 2, and then when
they're expensive.
They gave me 2 at a time, and then there was a firm from Switzerland, which Kava, K-A-V-E, which are very good, also good.
What's the main thing in the chalif? The sharpness.
The steel has been forged very, very well.
Yeah.
I mean. Not like an ordinary knife. It was a steel which was never get rusty, and it was easily sharpened. You see, and
the problem is getting it smooth, isn't it?
Get it smooth without it.
That's what you couldn't do to get it smooth.
Yes, to get it smooth. So anyway.
And Avram could do it on your chalif to get it smooth.
Yes, well, he was already.
The moncha.
Yes, he was moncha. So when I went to board the Besdin. To be a shochet, to get tasmacha.
The beginner.
So there was Rabbi Rappaport, there was the Rosh Shachtim there, and the Rosh Shachtim was, you see, the difference between Rabbi Abramsky, I wasn't there when Rabbi Abramsky was on Bracha, but there were other Dayanim there. Rabbi Abramsky, when he used to go, you had to give the Rosh Av Bezdin, because of Kvodo, the Gemara's in the Chuli. And they used to give it to him. He never used to bodek it, he used to give it to the Rosh Hashachtim.
Rabbi Abramsky never checked, yeah.
And then the Rosh Hashachtim said it's all right, so Rabbi Abramsky went over it. When we went, all the Dayanim, they went, they never disregarded the Rosh Hashachtim. You see, he was the Mamcha.
Yeah.
You see, these little small things, you see a gadol and that's what they told me about it. That with Rabbi Abramsky, he never did budik on it before the Rosh Hashachtim. That shows a lot. Yeah. With all this, they all said he was a Baal Gaiva, you know, but when he had to deal with the English Anglo-Jewish people that didn't know anything, and I don't know if I showed you there's an artist who painted Anglo Jewry.
No.
No. I'd like to show it to you. I'll show it to you after. And there was a painting of his in the sukkah of the chief rabbi. Everyone was without a hat. Only the chief rabbi. all the women had fancy hats
Yeah.
on. But I mean, to go into a chief rabbi's without hats shows, you know, what type of people they were. They were concerned with being Jews, but so he had to, when he came, an East European rabbi.
Yeah.
He had to behave, you know, and all what is that, and they didn't like it. You see.
Yeah.
There was an instant. We had a rabbi in our shochet called Brody.
Yeah.
And he said he once got a...
Which Brody?
A Brody, called Brody.
Not the, I don't know.
No.
Oh.
A shochet. So he got a phone call, he was telling me he got a phone call from the Board of Guardians or whatever it was. Oh no, the head of the United Synagogue. Now, the United Synagogue, the Montagues and all the...
Yeah.
So he said, is this Brody speaking? He thought it was the chief rabbi. The secretary got the wrong number. He goes, is this Brody? He said, who's speaking? He said, I've forgotten his name now, who it was at the time. He said, this is the president, this is, what's his name, Mr. So-and-so. He said, am I talking to Brody? He said, yes, you are. He said, well, I'm fed up with the way you're dealing with this particular matter. He said, what matter? He said, excuse me a minute. He said, is this chief rabbi? He said, no. Oh, he said, sorry, put down the phone. Somebody probably gave the secretary.
Yeah.
It just shows you
how they used to treat them. So, yeah. Yeah, I thought the English would have a bit more courtesy.
I don't know how the chief rabbis are dealt with here. You never know. Anyway.
So once you started learning shchita, I suppose you didn't enjoy it, or it wasn't an issue then?
My concern was to make a living.
Yeah.
And bring up the family. And so, but I did teaching in the evening, which I got a good job eventually. I used to teach in Dalston. Then I got this Mr. Felton, and then I got a job in Hackney with Mr. Felton. He was a headmaster, very nice fellow. Also, he was rather timid with dealing with the minister there, Rabbi Joseph. But anyway, he decided to leave.
Yeah, it was always shchita.
No shchita.
Yeah. So you used to in the East End, yeah. Because we there. How did it work there? Was it like in Israel? So where did you do the shchita?
No. Well, everybody they were poultry dealers.
Yeah.
And used to go there in the morning. There were about 3 or 4 shachtim there.
It was a mashchita?
There were a few mashchitot. There was one in the East End. There was one in Hessel Street. And there was one you go to private poultry dealers where you were on your own with a private.
But where do you used to shecht?
They had their own place where to shchita.
It was clean and everything.
Yeah,
and,
it was looked after. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like in Israel. I mean, how many used to shecht there?
Not the same standard because each poultry dealer brought their particular.
Yeah.
Each one, there were about 4 things where holes.
Yeah.
You know, there was a person who took the poultry, and after the shchita they used to put them in the holes.
Yeah.
One poultry dealer used to be in that place.
How many used to shecht a day?
I suppose about 200, 300.
That's all?
Something like that. No, maybe more, I'm not sure. But then you used to go, some had their private places like Kay. They used to go over the road to Sheikh from they were very places.
Now he used to, you weren't their sheikh, were you? The poultry dealers, they didn't have any choseh with you?
No, you were allotted, they were allotted a shochet by the Board of Shchita.
Yeah, so that means they couldn't threaten you or anything like that.
Oh, they threatened plenty.